and I mean, obviously, this man has a history already of domestic violence, and he was still out in the streets.
Yeah.
And a lot of family violence, and it's a real tragedy. My biggest fear is that, this can happen in any family. If there's somebody with mental health problems in the family, we need to make sure that we get those taken care of before another tragedy like this happens.
Boy, I tell you, Richard, my gosh, it takes it's a special evil. I mean, this man must be out of his mind.
Totally.
To do something like this. To handcuff one of them, his own son.
Yeah.
And then execute him like that. I mean, oh my goodness.
Really
you
sad.
just don't know. We are just I guess this happens, it's not a new thing, but I tell you, it's just hard to hear this kind of thing going on.
It most definitely, and certainly it's not just Houston, Texas. I mean, we know about all the violence that's happening across the country, California, Wisconsin, Missouri, and of course last night we know that there was an uprising.
We need to talk about Ferguson. It was the 1-year anniversary of the Ferguson killing.
Exactly.
And I tell you, it didn't seem to go well, did it?
It didn't go well at all last night. It was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration. It turned violent. There were 4 police officers that were injured. Fortunately, nobody was killed. But it's the kind of thing that comes about because of prejudices and discrimination and total disobedience of the law.
And they called for that too, Richard. They called for a day of civil disobedience today. I don't know what that would include. Hopefully it doesn't include rioting, but they certainly were after some kind of action.
Yeah.
Happened today.
Yeah, definitely.
But I tell you, it's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets any better.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure that we ask for peace and calm, and just cooler heads to prevail, because this is certainly an issue that's not going to go away, and it's going to be, hopefully we can find a better way to deal with these type of disturbances and uprisings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tell you, on a good note, the Astros still in first place, Richard.
They're hanging on tough.
Man, I tell you, with their all Latino infield.
That's right. Hey, man, Latinos, that's our game, baseball.
Yeah, that's right.
And right now we're showing that they are the ones making the Astros really strong. And they're holding on to first place. It's a tough fight. I think they're 1 or 2 games ahead right now. If they lose another 1 or 2 more, they're going to fall.
But you know what? And I know the Angels went through a really, really, the LA Angels went through a really, really bad deal. Lost like six of, no, I think they lost 8 of 10 or something like that. So, but they're going to get hot again, and hopefully the Astros will be able to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, I love baseball, and baseball just gets all, you get involved in the race, and I remember a kid just standing by the radio. When I was a kid, I'm from LA, so my team was the LA Dodgers.
Oh.
Up until we moved to Houston. But I remember every time the Dodgers played the Astros, I was sitting there by the radio listening. Let me give you a couple names: Gene Elston and Lowell Paz. You remember Lowell Paz?
Yeah.
Oh, now you chunking in there. Oh, that was his tagline. But oh man, those were great times, and that's when baseball was king, and hopefully we're getting back to that. And you're right, that is the Latino game.
Absolutely. Isn't your son playing ball now?
My son is playing ball for Reagan High School.
Reagan.
Baseball.
Oh, okay.
He's an incoming 9th grader, and he talked to some of the coaches and played in their summer league, and hopefully he'll be there in the spring. But they've got him training already.
Yeah, I know.
They're not playing around over there. They're getting these kids involved early.
And I was talking to him earlier, and he seems to be really enjoying it. And,
oh man, I tell you, there's nothing like it.
No doubt, he's going to give it his best shot. So I'm sure they'll do well.
I remember, Richard, I don't know if when you were a kid, but I remember when I was a kid waking up, 8 o'clock in the morning, during the summer, eating breakfast out the door by 9 at the sandlot playing baseball until 3 in the afternoon. No, we take a break at lunch, go to one of my buddies' house, eat lunch. Come back out there, play again till 3 o'clock, and the reason we stopped at 3 o'clock is that's when Speed Racer came on. Couldn't miss Speed Racer, so. But that's one of my fondest memories of my youth. I said that was so much fun.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that my son's getting into that because I tell you, it's a great sport
Yeah.
and great to see him involved in it again.
It's great, man. What about the GOP debates, man? What do you think?
Oh man, I mean I love it. Man, let Donald Trump put every mic you got on him. He's gonna say something stupid sooner or later.
Yeah.
and it's sooner than later, you know.
And he's going to keep doing that, you know. And the real sad thing to me is that he's very outspoken about his feelings and what his beliefs are. The sad news is that all the other contenders for the presidency may very well be thinking along the same lines. They just don't blurt it out like he does. And so I'm really hoping that right now what Trump is doing more than anything is being a total distraction for the rest of the GOP. And he's getting all the time in the media. The other guys, you know, they're left out in the cold. But it's going to be tough. I'm just ready to start hearing what the Democrats are going to start saying about what they're going to do if they win the presidency.
You know, Richard, I saw a great cartoon, and it was Donald Trump, and behind him was a gentleman in had like a elephant head. I guess they'll describe him GOP, and he's whispering to him. He goes, "You're not supposed to be saying out loud what we say in code."
Yeah, that's right, man. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh my goodness! But it's going to get a lot more interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's you know he can't. I mean, I can't see him winning the nomination.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I think he's just being a distraction. I think when he realizes he's not going to get the nomination, he may get so upset he's just going to go ahead and run independent and really screw up the Republican Party and strengthen the Democratic Party. That's what he's going to do.
From your mouth to God's ear.
Yep.
But it's gonna be a great ride till we get there. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like watching a novela on TV, you know, listening to this guy. That's what Rita said. My wife says. She says, "Man, that's what she's watching now. She's not watching the real novela. She's watching this novela, Trump and the GOP."
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, man. I tell you that's and you know when it gets the closer we get, the more intense it's going to get. You know, so
No question.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
Yeah.
it, Richard. Tell you, last week was an exciting week, wasn't it, Richard? Had a lot of stuff.
Exciting.
Yeah,
man.
Every week's exciting.
When are we going to talk about that White House initiative?
We're going to talk about it right now. I was leading you in, Ed.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Well, you know, we have to give a lot of credit to Ben Mendez, who was the organizer and has had the direct contact with the White House initiative staff, Jacqueline Cortez Wang.
Absolutely.
And the two of them really worked really hard to bring our community, the Latino community of Houston, together to ensure that we would submit as many proposals as possible related to Latino education in the public school system. And I think there were like 11 or 12 different organizations that were endorsed by the White House Initiative on Hispanic Educational Excellence. And of course, we're fortunate that TBH was one of the recipients of that.
We sure were, yeah.
And American Latino Center for Education and Justice was another. And so I'm real pleased that we were able to get in and get endorsed by the White House. But I think it was great that they came down, and as you know, we had dinner the night before on last Tuesday, and then on Wednesday they made the big local announcement of all the organizations that in fact have been endorsed by the White House, which essentially means that these organizations are viable, have viable programs that are likely to have a direct and positive impact on more Latinos not dropping out of school, graduating from high school and going on to college and staying in college until they graduate from there. It's going to be a long term. The commitment that these 11 or 12 organizations made is for the long term. It's not a one-year thing because it's going to take time. The public education system has been broken for so long and has failed so many of our children that we had to make a long-term commitment. In our case, we made a 10-year commitment of holding Latino education summits throughout the city, throughout the area of Houston Harris County, so that we can get all the Latino experts in education together. They can present to the community, educators, other professionals, parents, and students what the problems are, how we can resolve them, and provide best practice examples of what teachers and other educators, administrators can go back to their schools and work with kids in a different way. We cannot continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Different results. You're absolutely right, Richard.
So these summits, I think, are really viable, and I think they're really going to make a big difference. In September, September 18th and 19th.
That's right.
Of this year, we'll have our next summit. The first one was last year. This year, we're having one again here at Rice University.
You know, Richard, why don't you talk about a little bit about the summit last year? Because it was one heck of an achievement and one heck of a symposium that you put on there.
Last year at Rice University, we were able to bring in about 200 to 250 educators. We had some of really awesome presenters. Everybody from Steven Kleinberg to Dr. Richard Tapia of Rice University, who obviously is a math guru. And Tapia is the longest running professor there at Rice University of anybody. But he represents the Latino community so well and knows our community. And since then, he started a new project for Latinos. Most of them came from the East End. I think they had about 30 kids that stayed at Rice University for a full 4 weeks in their dorms, and then they were attending classes related to science, technology, education, engineering and math. And one of the great things that came out is that there is a strong push right now to include the arts, in STEM. And I know that you and I have been talking about that, and that TBH is going to get really involved with that. You might want to talk about that as well.
That was part of our proposal to the White House initiative, was putting the STEAM in STEM. And if I know people have heard about what STEM is: science, technology, engineering and math. But by adding arts to it, it becomes STEAM. And I think what arts does, it brings the creativity back into that, which I think a lot of times we overlook. And the creativity, it's what made this country, So we put up our Educarte. I say it wrong. Educarte was the name of our proposal, and there was a 4-pronged didactic approach to education, including theater, cinema, movies. We have the Educa Padres and I'm forgetting the last one, Richard. But it was like I said, a 4-pronged approach, and try, and theater. I think I don't know if I said theater.
There you go.
But and we are going after it in the bilingual area, which we think our bilingual schools and our bilingual students, I think a lot of times are, they just don't have a lot of options as far as the arts. So we want to show them what these bilingual programs are capable of, especially when you add that one component to it.
Yeah.
So we're really pumped about getting this program started.
I think that was an excellent proposal that you submitted, and certainly I totally believe that arts needs to be a part of STEM, not only because of the creativity, but the innovation that's involved. And what's happened to this date is that we don't have enough Latino students in STEM programs. That's one of the things that Richard Tapia pointed out last year. We don't have enough. We're here, but we're not there where we should be.
That's right.
And we need to go ahead and get the arts, because one of the problems with STEM and our kids is that they don't find it creative enough. They don't feel like it's going to take them anywhere. But if you add the arts, then you can bring in all the other fields and make those fields much more interesting, much more creative, much more fun. Our kids like to have fun, but if we can have them learning while they're having fun, which is what I think we're going to end up doing with STEAM.
You know, it's great, and I don't know a lot of people know this, but the Aztecs and Mayans were some of the greatest mathematicians this country
Absolutely.
and architects that this country ever known.
Yeah.
Our forefathers our forefathers built the largest pyramids.
Yeah.
They discovered the use of zero, which wasn't done in math until the Mayans and Aztecs brought that on. And I tell you, we're naturals, man.
Yeah.
We're naturals.
Seguro que sí.
So and I tell you, and I know my son Elias. He's a whiz at math. Pobrecito, he has a hearing disability, but he is a whiz at math.
That's wonderful.
And so we're trying to push him toward the engineering. Again, he's at HCC right now. But and then we got a lot of great engineers out there. I mean, one thing, there were so many young engineers that work for NASA that we met over the last week. I mean, some fantastic young people, and of course, my good friend Dr. Reguera. As smart as he is, he's good looking too. So I mean, and that's all of us.
Yeah. Well, the truth is that throughout the Latino community, and it's so very true here in Houston, we have tremendous talent in our community among our youth. Mm-hmm. And what we need is parents to get more involved in their child's education and help them along in wanting to aspire to be something greater. I think I know our parents love our kids and they want what's best for them, but they can't do it alone. They must have that parental support to help them through the whole process, because the process is tough, especially right now when the public school system is not what it should be. That's part of what the summits are all about, trying to change what's there today and make it better. And parents must get involved in order for us to be able to make the whole system better and have our kids become more successful.
That's you're absolutely you're making such a good point, Richard. You're absolutely right. I mean. Our kids need to see these options open to them.
Yeah.
And we just have to just generate and show the path to these great fields and let them know that it's achievable.
Yeah.
I spoke to Dr. Reguera. I said, Ray, and there's engineering schools. There's science and technology schools all over. Of course, Texas A&M. But he told me, he said, you know what? He goes, I would steer your son toward the University of Houston. I said, why is that? You want to go to A&M or Texas? He said, because of the culture at University of Houston. He says the Latinos, they said they embrace them, they embrace the kids, they give them the help they need, and they push them.
Well, that's more at University of Houston downtown than U of H Central.
Well, this was U of H Central. He told me this. Their engineering program down there. Yeah.
I would strongly recommend that you check into that, because that's not what my experience, but I do know that University of Houston downtown almost exclusively focuses on Latinos and getting them prepared. And the fact that Dr. William Flores is there, has been there for several years already, and we had Dr. Castillo before him. So there's been a tremendous concentration on trying to address the educational needs of Latinos, much more so than at Central.
I got to mention too at UHD, Dr. Gene Price. I mean, he's a Latino as they come. I said, how'd you end up with a name like Price? And the way it's spelled, Preuss, so it's a German name, but Dr. Price, very, very articulate, very, very intelligent man.
I thought it was Prius.
I thought it was Price or I don't know. It might be. I don't know. But I know he's one heck of. He's on the staff there at U of H, and he's a great educator there.
Yeah.
But I think that leads us into our next segment, Richard.
Great.
One of the things that we want to talk about, we're going to talk to the Brown Berets of Houston today, and one of the persons that's closely associated with them, the one how I got to meet the Brown Berets, Mr. Carlos Calvillo. I think we have him on the phone, and we're going to talk about Safe Second Ward. Carlos, are you there? Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Carlos?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great. Hey, Carlos, thank you for calling in. Can you hear me? Carlos, you
I
there?
can hear you quite well. How are you?
I'm doing well, Carlos. Thanks for calling in, Carlos. And I'm glad
Well,
you're
as
here
you
because we
know,
wanted to hear
since
what's
the
going on with Safe Second Ward.
Well, I wish I could be there in person, but as you know, since the executive director of Houston Media Source has barred me from the building and has kept me from an exercise of my freedom of speech rights, not once but twice, I'm going to have to deal with him once we get a new city council
Okay, Carlos.
man for District H and a new mayor. But anyway, Safe Second Ward is very active in trying to stop the evil aspects of gentrification within the Pless neighborhood, established in 1928, TBH, Guadalupe Catholic Church, much of the Live Oak area where people like Perry Holmes, Padua Realty, and Alan Atkinson are trying to put forward intimidating tactics to force out the long-standing generational landowners in that area. We're fighting that, but and we're fighting for the spirit, the heart, the soul, the viability of Second Ward as a neighborhood. Our people, of course, can't afford $400,000 townhomes, but tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I will be addressing Harris County Commissioners Court to talk about their latest, very, very illogical plan. They want to put two, not one, but two dog parks in Jamesview Park, which we've been fighting to keep as a potential history center and nature center since 1984. During the summer, Mr. John Blunt, who is the head of the Harris County Engineering Department, brought in a team from Texas A&M to do a viability study. That study has resulted in a suggestion or a proposal that Jamesview Park, which of course is right by the McKee Street Bridge, and in fact is the entry point to Second Ward for most of Houston. They want to put two dog parks out there, one for little dogs, one for big dogs. I'll be through in a minute, and we can discuss this further. But the point being that the Frost family, the people that came out of the Barrio del Alacran, such as myself, the Shrimp family, the Senegas, in other words, people that this is the birthplace of Houston. This is families such as the Frost family that fought for Texas at the Battle of San Jacinto. Families such as my family, the Arianos, that came out of the Barrio del Alacran, and whom should be remembered for heritage and what they've done. In other words, they're trying to put two dog parks out there where gentrifiers will come into our neighborhood, bring their dogs to poop on our history, to poop on our heritage. And I intend to tell the Commissioner's Court in the morning that under no circumstances are we going to stand for that. The meeting starts at 10 o'clock, Commissioner's Court, 1201 Preston. I sure could use everyone that is within the sound of my voice to come out there and to attend and to help us fight this very, very completely illogical plan for our neighborhood. Of course, first of all, Mexicans don't need dog parks. That is the big thing. But even bigger than that, another plan by government to shove something down our throats without even asking our community what we wanted or what we needed in that park. We have nonprofit groups working to develop Jamesview Park, putting up history centers, to put up a boat dock. We're very active in that park. Of course, Safe Second Ward was instrumental in kicking out the vagrants, the preachers, and all the homeless activity, so-called homeless industry that was out there, drug dealing, prostitution, crime. And now Jamesview Park is free of all that, yet the pump pits are coming back. The vagrants are moving back in and setting up house. This is another thing that we're going to be addressing in the future, and it's going to be a very long fight. But since you mentioned it, the Brown Berets, and you will have them on there, are very much involved in these issues. I've been associated with the Brown Berets since 1967 when I worked in Los Angeles and worked with David Sanchez, who founded the Brown Berets. In Houston, I've been involved with the Brown Berets since the days of the late 60s, the activist period. The last Beret chapter we had here in Houston was 1980, mid-80s. The Houston Police Department broke it up by arresting many of them and driving them out because they did not appreciate their kind of activism. Brown Berets are shock troops. They're the ones that go in, and every movement has a shock troop. Every movement throughout history has a group of people that go in there and stir things up, and then the other people come in behind them to clean things up. So that's the importance of what this group does, and hopefully we'll have them on and hear what they've got to say.
Carlos, thank you so much, man. We're gonna put them on in the next segment, and we just want to thank you for calling in and filling us in on all the great work you're doing with Safe Second Ward and the other groups you're associated with. And Carlos, thank you for being out there for the community.
Okay, well, I'll call back. I have some questions for them as well. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carlos. And folks, we're going to take a short break. Just give us a couple minutes, and we'll be back with the Brown Berets of Houston. Be back. Hang on. welcome back to Latino Talk TV, and folks, we got a great group here. We are going to be speaking with the Cardenalismo Brown Berets of Houston.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Sir.
A group very active here in the Houston area, and it's great to have them. I was just able to, we crossed paths a few weeks back, and the more I hear about the Brown Berets, they do a lot of good work out there in the community, so we wanted to get them on the show. We're lucky to have Liz Lozano, Mr. Chris Quiroz, Mr. Willie Rodriguez.
Sir.
I'm going to wait him until the end here
Okay.
because I love his name. Dalea Lugo. Dalea, thank you for being with us. And my Aztec brother here, Milentica, which is an Aztec name. I dig that. I love that. So it's great having you folks. And I guess we'll ask, why don't you give us a little history of the Brown Berets, people who don't know what the Brown Berets is all about.
Willie? Okay. Yeah, Brown Beret Cardenalismo been around since, been active in Texas since 63, between 63 and 65 is when they originated. It was actually some brothers, some Chicano brothers that banded together during the Vietnam War. You know, they brought the Cardenalismo here to Texas, and from there, that's where we started.
Where didn't it start on the West Coast? Is
No,
that right?
well, we're a different organization from what you're speaking of, La Causa, Brown Berets. We're a totally different organization. We were a different patch.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, our origins is in Vietnam. You know, Texas. We're a Texas Brown Beret organization.
Great.
Though we do have other organizations, we spread out. New Mexico, Colorado, and Califas,
Yeah.
Texas. So we're getting out there. That's basically our history.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Well, tell
over
us.
40.
So, what are the Brown Berets? What are they doing today? Give us some of the things you guys are working on.
Well, currently we've worked on the Save Second Ward project, which is to assist the homeowners and residents of Second Ward who are battling the gentrification of the neighborhood. They feel that they have been harassed by area developers to sell their homes. So we're standing up and supporting them, inviting them to meetings, town hall meetings, doing protests in the neighborhood, and doing anything that we can. The saddest thing that I had was a about 87-year-old woman who lived near City Gas Park. She came to a meeting one day and she says, "They want me to sell. I don't want to sell." She'd lived in her home 65 years. She says, "They built all around me. Everywhere there's these 3-story houses. I used to be able to watch the fireworks. From my front porch, I can't see them anymore." She says, "They want me to sell." She says, "I don't want to sell my home. I want to stay there until my time comes," with tears in her eyes. That's the hardest thing, is that these people shouldn't have to be pressured to sell. Once you tell someone no the first time, that should be it.
And when she said she was being pressured, what all did that include?
They are receiving multiple phone calls. They get door hangers on their door from different developers. There's notes, letters in the mail requesting and giving them offers for sale. And to add insult to injury, they're giving them deadlines. You need to respond to this request or this offer to buy your home by such and such date. They don't want to sell. They've already told these people they don't want to sell. They don't need anybody coming and knocking on their door. And that's the bad thing, is that the city of Houston is not recognizing that the Second Ward area, particularly the area behind the Guadalupe Catholic Church, has great history. It used to be right behind Guadalupe, in that little neighborhood, used to be called Bles. I believe the first home was erected, if I'm correct, it was mid-1800s. Okay? So you have all this history. You have St. Vincent Cemetery right next door to Guadalupe. You have another little church that's been there for also 100 years or more. Houses that people have received and have been handed down generation to generation from father to grandson to great grandson. So you're getting your home from a great grandparent, some even great great grandparents, and they're trying to take their homes. Why? Because they want to put 3-bedroom condominiums and townhouses there so they can make money. They're
All
offering,
about the money.
yes, they're offering to sell these condos and townhouses for $300,000 to $500,000, yet only offering the residents $80,000 on average for their property. That is an insult. It's disgusting that they would do this to these people because on each lot they want to do multiple units.
Right.
And these people, where are they supposed to go? They lived there all their lives. Let them enjoy their golden years. Why should our elderly be harassed into moving out?
You know what? And the thing about that, Richard, I'm sure you heard about this, and one of the things that Adrian Garcia was addressing is that not only that is that when these people that stay behind that don't sell their properties, I mean, taxes usually get them. I mean, it's crazy because their taxes goes up, and one of the things that being brought up is why should these people pay for the developers' improvements for their construction?
Yeah.
They're by raising taxes on the people that've been there.
So for those people that don't allow these developers to sell them out, the city then comes in, raises their taxes, and then they end up having to move out because
Exactly.
they can't
Yes.
afford them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a conspiracy, and the sad thing, it is happening all over the inner city. It's happening here now, and that's most unfortunate, and I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing because it's very important that we have strong advocacy
Right.
against what these
Yeah,
developers
we are
are
the-
trying to do.
We are a voice. We are the voice for the people.
Yes.
We speak out.
We have I think it's Carlos calling in again. Carlos, are you there? Hello, Carlos.
You. I want to point out something that in order for a person in Houston in the wards, the high wards, which are now under attack everywhere, if a developer comes in and builds a $400,000 3-story townhome next to a little house, a little one-family structure owned by a little old lady who has owned that house for 80 years, her taxes will also go up proportionally based on the value of the home next to her. Now, the only way to stop this, it's going to take legislation in the Texas legislature, which won't meet again for 2 years, to pass a law that would prohibit someone that builds a giant townhome, that would prohibit that from causing automatically the taxes of the little old lady to go up. However, that cannot be voted on by city council. It must be done at the Texas legislative session. Now, full disclosure, I support Adrian Garcia for mayor. He is talking about that. He may be the only candidate that is talking about that. But there's a lot that is stacked against us. And the only thing we can do is fight. And so because of the Brown Berets, because of Safe Second Ward, because of many, many other people that are now rising up and getting involved, our next meeting is at TVH on October 27th, 10 o'clock. We urge everyone to come out and see what you can do to help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. And I think someone's going to say, well, these people that own these homes, their tax they're exempt anyway because of homestead exemption. But when they die, and they pass these properties on to their relatives, to their sons and daughters, the taxes owed on them are so high that they have no choice but to sell the home. There's nothing else they can do.
Yeah.
So that's one game they play also.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the deck stacked against us. That's why their work is so important. What other projects are you guys working on?
Well,
you
we
working on
are.
something else?
We are also. This includes Safe Second Ward. We are hoping on creating the Second Ward area as a historical area, not just on the state level, also on the national level. There are so many points of interest. We have old cemeteries, old buildings, churches, homes. I think it would be great to have it as a historic district. We saw a double-decker bus over this weekend coming down Navigation. So they are doing tours in the area. So if the tours are there then let the neighborhood benefit from this. Maybe these people can turn around and use this to benefit themselves and their families if we have it in the historic area. You get a house that's built in the mid 1800s or earlier, perhaps there's a way for that family to get it to where they don't have to sell. Maybe the state can turn around and take it over once those families are gone.
Well, it's what is so kind of strange is that this neighborhood, Second Ward, does have a potential to have their bit of tourism. The community can benefit from it, from the local eateries to the church, because there are plenty of community events that are going on around the neighborhood. And talk about Ute Park, they should be using most of the TIERS money, or municipalities should be able to have access through Kennedy. So all that money should be going to that, and the Kennedy Road should be a public road and not a private road.
Now, Kennedy Road is that street along the bayou?
Yes, it is. It's currently being blocked off by the developers in the area. It is a public street. It has a City of Houston public sign on there. There are no signage anywhere in the area that says this is a private street. Residents cannot go down that street. EMS, fire department, police, constables cannot go down that street or any of the streets nearby it because they continuously block it off.
They block it with, I saw the big concrete
Yeah, they're big
barricades
concrete
there.
barriers. That's endangering the residents of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
If they want to barricade something, they need to barricade the area where they're excavating because children can go over there and get hurt. Fire
Now,
marshal.
I heard about that, Liz. All of a sudden, they said overnight they put these
Yes.
concrete barriers there.
Yes.
And I know my good friend over at Doña Maria,
Juan Hernandez.
Juan Hernandez
Yes.
told me that he complained and that they removed them. But now they're back.
Yes, and what we need the community's help, whether they're in Second Ward, excuse me, or not, to voice their opinion on that because you're endangering a whole community. If somebody's house is on fire and the closest way to get to them is through Kennedy Street from Jensen, then we need those roads unblocked. A house could be on fire, somebody could be having a heart attack, a child could be injured. There is no good reason for that street to be blocked.
And this is that road right on the corner, right next to Bio, right on the
Yes.
corner with Catholic Charities, right across the
Yes.
street from TBA.
Yes.
I've seen that road because I used
They
to.
want,
I used
they want
to-
a free private street.
Yeah, I
Yes.
would take that and go to Doña Maria all the time.
Yes,
Take the back
that's
street over there. Take the right
That's
there.
a good way. The residents that live immediately on that area, on Live Oak and Kennedy, we have one gentleman, Mr. Albert Martinez, who's being harassed. They are excavating so close to his backyard, his back fence, that all it's going to take is one good rain, like we had a couple of months ago, and he'll probably lose that fence line because it's that close. If they want to be neighbors with the rest of the community, that's fine, but be good neighbors. What are you bringing to the neighborhood? Don't just take from us.
That's right.
They need to give back.
That's right.
Has anyone got to Ed Gonzalez yet? Because he's the city councilman there.
We've spoken to Ed Gonzalez, and his favorite reply has always been, but they have the right permits. Maybe we need someone in city council and as our mayor that's going to support the community.
What about your
Well, it's a good
state
point.
rep?
Our state representative as well. We'll go as high as we can.
Yeah.
See, I think I have to say about Ed Gonzalez, I mean, he may be a good man, but then, I mean, I've had him on Twitter say a couple of things that, stating that the road that is Kennedy is saying it's a private road. They have a right to close it off. But then I'm going like, what? That's not what I'm hearing from other individuals who have proof, such as from Carlos Cabillo and Albert Martinez, having proof that no, it's not, from the railroad. But they want to go ahead and take our tax dollars and give them, make it a private road.
I don't understand how they're saying this is a private road. That road has been open there for years.
I'm not certain. I guess because they need to use the street and they have so much money, because it's Perry Homes, Padua Realty, that are the two main developers in that particular street in that area. We also have Urban Living and a few other smaller ones in the neighborhood as well. But Perry Homes and Padua Realty are the two main players. Thankfully, Mr. Padua did come to our town hall meeting and he spoke, and we're hoping to get a hold of him sometime very soon to see what he's going to bring back to the neighborhood. Perry Homes, we have yet to speak to a representative of them.
Wow.
But Elizabeth, also, isn't it a big concern that with the bayou right there, that there aren't any railings alongside that bayou?
Yes.
That anyone could, or a child or whatever, can be
Yes.
pushed over, or something could happen or whatever.
Somebody can ride their
Yep.
dirt bike in that
And
excavation site,
especially
and it can
security.
tumble into the bayou.
My main concern about this community, why isn't there a storefront within this community? Because you're going to have that along the way. It's going to add more problems, Things are going to come around. You have Butte Park that needs to be protected, and so does the community.
Okay, we have another caller.
Got another caller.
Jose.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Saludos a los Brown Berets, man. You guys
Salute,
are doing an
brother.
awesome job out
Hey.
there. This is Jose Vega, proud to be
Hello.
Tejano. I am disgusted by the lack of support that these people are getting, okay? And this isn't supposed to be an Adrian Garcia thing. This isn't supposed to be a Robert Chavez thing. This isn't supposed to be a Ed Gonzalez thing. This should be a bipartisan movement to save these people's homes. And I myself am disgusted by myself, the lack of support that I've been giving them. But you know what? When it comes down to it, we need to unite with them. We need to help them out. We need to do all we can to support this. And I just got to give it out to them. The Brown Berets are doing an awesome job. When no one else stepped up to the plate, they did. And it's about time that we have someone that will do it. So I'm here for you guys. Proud to be Tejanos, here to support. Like I said, should be a bipartisan movement or a nonpartisan movement. Do not mention politicians when it comes down to it, because they're only going to show up when it comes down to where they're running for either city council or city mayor or Senate or representative. That's the only time they're going to show up. Okay? So don't count on them. We need to do this on our own. We got to do this on our own. I'm here to support you guys and this stuff. It's time for me to step up to the plate. Okay? And that's all I got to say. A big shout out to the Brown Berets. You guys are doing an awesome job. Elizabeth Lozano, you are the new voice. Big shout out to you. You got a big heart.
Thank
And
you.
you're going to take this to a whole different level. Okay?
Good deal.
Thank you, Jose.
Javier, thank you for having him there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for calling in. I tell you, man, you guys got a lot of work ahead of you. That's for sure.
That's what we're here for, man.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. We took that oath. We took that oath, man. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Well,
We're
the
not-
good
we're
thing
not
is
afraid of
that
work.
you guys are doing this work peacefully,
Yes.
and when you're doing that, we should be able to get a lot more of our community behind you
Yes.
Right.
to approach that. The last thing we want is any violence, right, related to that or anything else. But what you guys are doing, you're doing it right, and I applaud your efforts.
Appreciate that.
Gracias a todos. Porque es importante. Nuestros ancianos necesitan el apoyo de la juventud, and that's what you
Yes.
guys represent.
Yes.
That's right.
Someone did it for us
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here.
generations ago, and it's time for us to stand up for our elders and for our next generation so they can have a place to call home and not just a townhome. Place with a yard with naranjos, with all kinds of fruit trees, flowers and stuff. These new townhomes, that's what really makes me mad. Where are you going to plant a garden? My abuelita had a garden. She had ciruelos y nopales and frutas y rosas por donde quiera. These are things that the children need to grow up.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to be put in a car,
Yeah.
packed a lunch, then driven across town to go and enjoy some
it's
really
really sad
space.
because I remember especially the Blessed neighborhood.
Yes.
I remember, I went to school at Alei de Guadalupe. I tell you what, my grandfather was one of the original. What would you call it? He would make during the Prohibition. He was
bootlegger.
He was a bootlegger. Yeah, he was a bootlegger. and they tell me that he would make his own tequila and beer. And they said the neighbors said that they would always know that it was done when it's in the middle of the night. You'd hear, "Viva la revolución!" They said they knew it was ready. They knew it was ready.
Is your grandfather?
But, you know, that was my grandfather, John Pettis. John Pettis Sr.
Nice.
And I tell you, he loved the neighborhood. He ended up in Houston back in the 20s and never went back to Mexico. He said this was his home. He loved it here. Raised his family here. So we still own the house that he owned.
Nice.
So and you know it's Second Ward is almost like a small town.
Yes.
I mean, everybody knows each other in Second Ward. You know, I mean, it's great just to go out. I mean, you see them at a restaurant, no, but todos se conocen.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's and I'm afraid that we're losing that. We're losing
it in all the barrios, and that's the thing about the Brown Berets. Today we're in Second Ward. Next week we might be in Denver Harbor, in North Side. We might be any other part of town. Right now, Safe Second Ward has asked for our help. That's what we're doing. For the people that can't get up and stand up for themselves, defend themselves against these tyrants, these bullies, and be a voice, we're here to help them as much as we can do, only because we owe it to them. Because of these people, these elders, they stood up for us at one time. Now it's time for somebody to stand up for them.
I tell you, and if people want more information about the Brown Berets, what is there a website or how can they do that?
You can visit our Brown Beret page on Facebook at the Houston Brown Berets.
Okay.
You can also email us at cnbbhtx.com. I'm sorry, on gmail.com.
Okay.
And just send us a message,
There a
and
phone number?
we're around. Yes, 832-525-3549.
No tenga miedo.
Is that your number?
You get all these calls.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No crank calls, please, because I will call you back.
No, I think people see the seriousness of this matter, and I pray nobody's going to be calling you with prank calls. I think that what we do want, though, is a lot of people calling you that want to support you, and that this whole movement, continue to grow, because that's what it's going to take in order to make a difference on this problem, because this problem is going to continue to grow unless we stop it. Y se va a tomar a todos juntos.
Yes.
Because I have to say, because I'm not an official Brown Beret, I'm just, I work with them, and they've been doing a whole lot of stuff, and I mean, I'm always happy to help them, and they're doing so much within that area and a whole lot, throughout Houston and everywhere. Yeah. And it's very great for them to show so much, heart and everything, whatever they do.
And it's really sad, because those are, of course, in the Heights, there used to be a big Latino area.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I have a friend of mine that is in construction, and he told me, man, my buddy told me, he goes, you know what, I spent all my life trying to get out of the Heights. Now I can't afford to get back in.
Wow.
And that's true.
It's
and that's
true.
what's going to happen in Second Ward if we don't.
Yes.
Brown Beret Chris is still a resident of the Heights.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that it shouldn't come to how much money you have. It should be, if somebody has their home, you don't want to sell. You wouldn't go and make somebody else sell their car if they didn't want to.
That's right, exactly.
You wouldn't continuously knock on their door just because these people don't have as much money as others. Doesn't mean they can be bullied. And we're going to stand up for them.
Great.
Sí se puede. I
That's
think
it.
we're running out of time.
We're running out of time, guys. It was a great show today. We're going to make sure we bring you guys back. Everything got something on, please come back and let us know. And we'll see you next week live on HMS TV here, Latino Talk TV. Thank you. And thank TBH, our new sponsor. Thank you for being there, and we'll see you next week.